Galera, boa noite. Aguardando aqui entrar o Denis Vazilev para a gente fazer a nossa live e falar sobre isso daqui, ó. Posição de hack no Kettlebell. É um dos assuntos mais polêmicos que tem, que a turma fica sempre naquela, isso daí machuca a coluna, essa posição é toda torta, né, tá o quadril lá para frente, tá de lado e tal. Então, Denis já está entrando, acabei de falar com ele aqui no privado, acabei de falar com o LDM. Assim que ele entrar, a gente já começa a live. Vou fazer a live em inglês e português para todo mundo aqui poder entender o que está rolando. Tá? O Denis mora na Califórnia, para quem não sabe. Ele tem lá o Orange Club Kettlebell e fala inglês fluente. Já que eu não falo russo, vai ser em inglês aqui a live, beleza? Então dispara o convite para ele aqui e bora conversar. Tá? Vou chamar o monstro aqui. Hello, Dennis, and trying to invite you. If you can send me an invitation, I think it's easier. Okay. Okay, got it. Bora lá. Tá beleza? Hello, Dennis. Tudo bem?
Claudio, it's good
How's
to
it
see
going?
you. I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you very much for reaching out and for inviting for this exciting meeting.
Let's do as many times as you want, sir. Just let me introduce you to the Brazilian audience, Dennis, and I'll be doing this both in English and Portuguese, so I can translate quickly to people. So I'll try to keep my sentences as short as I can, okay? Pessoal, falei para o Denis agora que eu vou fazer essa live em português e em inglês, então eu vou traduzindo e tentar fazer as frases o mais curto possível. Para quem não sabe, o Denis Vazilev, ele mora na Califórnia, é um dos multicampeões do Kettlebell Sport, e ele veio para falar justamente sobre esse assunto, que é a posição de hack no Kettlebell. Dennis, I'm just told the audience that you're one of the greatest kettlebell sport champions all times, and it's a pleasure. It's really a pleasure to talk to you. I think last time I talked to you, it was when you were here in São Paulo at CrossFit Perdizes. I just stopped by to say hi. And let me tell you, I'm such a great fan of yours, of your work, and I won the first Brazilian gold medal at Kettlebell Sport as a veteran in 2-arm long cycle, 24 kilos, in Italy 2018. And your tips were so valuable for me. I watched over and over and over your YouTube channel. So thank you a lot for that. You have a great influence in my work. And here at my space, we're finished the classes now.
Beautiful. Hi, everyone, guys.
I hope you come to São Paulo another day.
I miss the Brazil.
Some other
I miss Brazil.
opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
Ok. Eu falei para o Denis que ele é uma das grandes influências que tem no esporte. Eu, inclusive, sou um fã dele. Ele esteve aqui na CrossFit Perdizes em 2018. Eu ganhei um campeonato mundial na Itália, foi a primeira medalha de ouro do Brasil. E ele teve muita influência na minha performance, porque eu assisti os canais de YouTube dele várias vezes. Ok, sir. Let's get started. Let's get down to business. Let's go down to business.
Well, as I understand, our topic is major topic is to get through the most important and controversial phase of kettlebell sport is the rack fixation. Correct.
Yep.
And you gave a brief intro to about myself, but I started 1999, so it's 25 years non-stop. I'm doing kettlebell sport, and actually, as far I go, as more I like it. In fact, I really, it's still my heart. I think it's like a really great way to exercise. And as far as I'm not only enjoying it myself, but I also advocate of kettlebell sport, and I believe that it's a really good way to exercise. And I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that it's a zero risk. No any other sport can provide you 100% guarantee, but there is a way to get it done well and safe and benefit a lot from it. That's what I'm doing, on my own example, lifting and providing coaching with a safety priority. first and results second, but usually it goes together. And well, trying to speak about it as much as possible to give a right impression of this beautiful sport, I think.
Great. So I'll just do a quick translation, okay? Into português. Bom, o Denis falou que ele está nesse esporte há 25 anos. Como todo esporte, tem algum risco incluso, mas tem uma forma de você gerenciar esse risco, que é você prestar atenção na técnica e no próprio treinamento, para você evoluir com calma. Mas é um esporte que roubou o coração dele, ele está nele direto praticando e ensinando até hoje. Okay, Dennis, so translation is done already, like briefly.
Yeah.
So about this rack position, how many times someone asked you, doesn't it hurt your lumbar?
Well, actually, kettlebell sport community aware of the rack fixation. Guys who's done kettlebell sport, they know what it's about, and if they're asking, it's like more specific questions, like how to make it better. But guys who's not familiar with kettlebell sport at all, well, they're asking kind of more generic questions, and sometimes they get impressions that oh my God, what's going on? Like, careful with your back, watch it, don't push it too hard, and
don't lift so hard.
yeah, I'm not upset with this type of comments at all. It just well, it depends on the altitude, of course, and if person is open to some explanation, well, I'm always happy to provide it. If someone just have assumption that it's bad and he don't wants to hear anything about it, and well, we cannot force. But again, as I said, I'm doing it for 25 years, and even example of myself on its own already means something. I think at least my vision, the amount of lifting I've done through the years is just, if it was bad for health, there is no way I would be around still. With walking on my two legs, and it go even further than that all of my teammates I've started sport with, and they still lifting. Like Alexander Khvastov, he's one of the also active coaches who teaches. In my knowledge, I don't know anyone who had any major issues caused by kettlebell sport, even minors, really. All guys in the game. And so as my students. But as I said, that there is way to learn it, and principles of a gradual volume increase and proper technique. And people who's not following it, well, they might deal with some discomfort in their back. Well, in their shoulder, well, it depends how bad you violate the rules. If you can strike to different parts, but talking about the back, it's possible. And well, I'm ready to share. Why.
Okay. Let me ask you, how many students in kettlebell sport do you have nowadays?
It's over 50.
Over 50. Cool.
Yeah.
And
through my coaching career, I work with around 300 students. It's starting from 2010, like last decade and a half.
Cool. And among them, do they experience any discomfort in the lumbar, like it's something that happens to them at some point, or when they start properly and paying attention to techniques, it never happened?
Yeah, so among all of my students, there's very few, like can count on fingers. It's, I believe, just really just only two guys through the whole time of my coaching, and among 300 people who needed to take a break from kettlebell sport because of the lower back discomfort. But they had issues with the back before. So that's another kind of general thing to say, that
so they had
I don't know anyone who came in perfect health to kettlebell sport, like never had any injuries before, like everything is fine, and then they get hurt by kettlebell sport. I don't know these kind of examples, but often, especially with the little bit older generation, and well, older, I mean like even guys in their 30s, 40s, who have some experience on the past, and some, well, it can be like some accidents, car accidents, or other sport accidents, they after rehab, they already done some injury on their back or on their knees, and they either like right after rehab, or it's been a while ago, but it's still around. So in these situations, of course, you need to be careful. So kettlebell sport exercises, they're not causing harm, but you cannot also put them into a rehab exercises category, right?
Okay. It doesn't harm, but it's not medicine, right?
Yeah. So it's a challenge. Well, and also a question how hard you push it. And speaking of a lot, well, for male, I think for men like up to 24 kilograms, it's fairly safe territory. Up to amateur division. And then once you cross the line of amateur, well, you kind of willingly stepping into territory with higher risks, because you start pushing the limits and challenge your body, and you need to,
Right.
again, it's possible to stay healthy and a good shape, but it's just the responsibility and the value of mistake is higher. So you really need to be very careful, because as heavier the belts, as less forgiving they are in terms of mistake.
Right.
So like missing rack fixation, if you miss your elbow, like, wasn't able to land belts properly into the rack 16 kilograms, well, body just will absorb it. But if it's
Right.
32s, well, they might pull you just a little too hard, which, can cause some, injury, minor or worse.
Right. So basically just respect to the bells, right? Respect to the process, respect to the techniques, and if you don't have any prior injury, you're going to be safe.
Yeah, as any other sport. And let's be a bit more specific. So let's just go through it. So let me first demonstrate you a couple reps.
Perfect,
with 2
please.
bells. So, well, that's what we call a rack fixation in kettlebell sport. And what happens here is, see, I place my arms in front of my chest, and my elbows are stuck on the iliac crest, on the sides of my pelvis.
Right.
And that's a key point to competition format performance. If you want to get through 10 minutes in kettlebell sport and jerk or long cycle, you must have a good rack fixation. There is no way you will get it done without this phase. So this middle point where we're catching our breath, when it's done right, so the whole weight of kettlebell through the forearm and elbow goes into the pelvis.
Right.
Versus, let's say, style when the back is straight like this. It kind of looks kind of safer, right? More traditional, right? A safe straight back and bells high on the chest. Well, the problem with that is that there's lots of muscles engaged in order to hold this kind of posture. Even if you look in the handles here, the shoulder is not exactly a comfortable place. Well, it's not a flat surface even to keep the weight here. So we keep it here because of pretty much all of the core muscles in front, in back, and plus deltoids and pectorals and biceps. It's all engaged here. And for fitness purposes, actually, that's probably great, because that's what you're going for in fitness. You want to fire up muscles as quick as possible. And, if you're talking about the hard style and guys doing it this way, well, they just really feel the burn, of their back muscles, upper back, middle back, and chest and arms, and they feel good about it. But in kettlebell sport,
they want to fire the muscles as fast as they can at fitness, actually, so that might be good for them, but not for performance, right?
In kettlebell sport, no one wants to feel that. No one wants to feel fatigue in their shoulders or back, or pectorals is the beginning of the set, especially. So that's why, we're lifting a certain way where we're arching the back and placing elbows on the iliac crest. Well, and how everything is started. So I will introduce this skeleton model.
This skeleton is just great.
It's I bought it on Amazon, so it's standard human skeleton made with, well, as they claim, a precision of, every bone, etc. And I made some adjustments to it in order to make it perform the kettlebell rack fixation. So, well, they originally go kind of on the stick under the pelvis, so they kind of hang, and it's like a firm metal rod on the spine, so their back is not flexible. So I took it apart and I put just a softer, like a TV cord, so back is flexible here. And I don't know if you can see the whole screen, but well, it's standing on the platform, so as wide as a kettlebell lifter would stand.
It's a pretty standard position for kettlebell sport.
Yeah, and so here's the strike fixation. So speaking about the spine, so the main worry of guys is, oh, I will blow my disc, between the vertebrae if I will be arching back so hard. So the thing is, and usually, guys with experience of lifting mostly barbells or even like a hardstyle, when the weight is lying here, like on top of the chest, when we're keeping the back straight. So the weight is way above, well, kind of on the above the thoracic part of a spine, and the simple rule is that everything underneath must be engaged and straightened, and that's why it makes sense, when you're carrying a bar on your chest or kettlebells on your chest, so you're keeping the back straight.
Right.
But then when you arch the back this way, well, the most important if here is you must attach the elbow into the iliac crest foundation, so the weight distribution will go this way. And well, that's here we go. That's a note how to not get hurt. So if you will arch your back, but you will fail to land your elbows on the stomach, well, that's potentially a dangerous situation, because you release your back, but you didn't place the elbows on the pelvis, and that's a mistake, and well, that's might cause overstrain of thoracic, or if you lean back too hard, well, or a long lumbar. So you want to, well, and that's why in kettlebell sport, important also to follow the right programming or progression. So no one is perfect first, and it's quite a specific skill to establish. So that's why it's a bad idea to go on the challenging weight when your technique is not formed. So the very simple thing to do is start with a comfortable weight, and whichever is comfortable for you. For heavyweight guys who's like athletic and muscular, maybe 16 is light for them. Yeah, for sure shouldn't be heavier than 16. For lighter guys who's maybe haven't much experience of kettlebell sport, well, they can go 12 kilogram, 8, whatever. There's no shame in it. That's important. That's not a right time to show your character and being cocky and fancy. No, it's safety. Go honestly light. And when you light, well, even if you make some mistakes, you will not be punished, and so you will take your time to establish the proper flexibility, because not everyone can place elbows so close to each other and rest them on the iliac crest. So that's the goal number one. Once you can rest your elbow here, that's it. So the weight of kettlebell, well, it's visible, on real human, on skeleton, of course. So the kettlebell sit on the base of a palm, and then, well, there's several points of connection. So kettlebell attached to the forearm bone, to the radius, and then well, to upper arm bone, and then elbow is here. So there's like also can be variations of weight distribution, and because besides back, it's also possible to get it around your forearm and also have discomfort in your forearm. So if you will incline the forearm too hard, and if you will basically let the whole weight rest on the forearm, well, you eventually also will have a bruises here. So you want to align forearm the way that kind of weight goes right through the axle of a forearm,
Vertical.
and, you know, going out from the elbow and going into the pelvis. So, you know, align angles from the front view, and then from the side view. Well, speaking of a back safety, your lumbar. So you want to, well, like if you even look on the the sacromion, so it's right kind of under above the iliac crest. So somewhat you want to stay upright, I call it, right? So you don't want your shoulder be behind the pelvis, because this way, meaning, you know, the lower back taking the load, and also bell resting on the chest, even if your elbow attached. So it's, you know, maybe will be 50% of a weight on the elbow, but another 50 goes through the chest and the lower back, which, well, eventually will just makes you feel some discomfort. So you want to arch your back and pull the shoulders forward. The way is that you concentrate the most of a kettlebell weight here, like 80%, you know, and only just 5 maybe percent on the shoulder, and, you know, a little bit on the base of a palm.
Got it. So it's like you're bracing a baby, like let's do this. So you should work this flexibility also, right? Here.
Yeah.
Besides the extension of the hip, also, and do you think that besides starting to work with a comfortable weight like 12s, the weight that won't cause any injury or won't demand a lot from an initial practitioner to the rack position, do you think there are specific exercises you could propose to your students to develop such flexibility here that is demanded for that position, like some yoga position or some breathing technique?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, again, I you know, really like to have this example here, because sometimes you just need to see. Well, you see, it's not about exercise. It's about what this exercise will do to your body, what you want to achieve by doing certain exercise. And so, you know, what you just described and what you ask, well, in order to perform this rack fixation, so we need to let shoulder blades apart. So they should be, well, and like, you know, when you like ever seen a like human skeleton or copy of a skeleton, it's you know, this shoulder joint, it's not attached anywhere really, you know, like when you look on the pelvis, well, it's like major bone vase with actual hole, and the ball of a hip going there is like very exact joint, right? But shoulder, you know, this whole thing is just, it's only just muscles and ligaments. It's really loose. It's really capable of moving like all over the place. Well, it's like, you know, this bone here, right? It's well, kind of giving a range, you know, limiting somewhat like a range of a motion where the shoulder go, but it definitely can go forward and backward and up and down. And we just want to, you know, get as flexible as possible in this area. And well, in my experience, that's rotations, actually all kind of rotations.
Right.
And, you know, can start with the simple ones, you know, like depends how stiff you are, but just simply can you shrug your shoulders, you know, approach the ears, just simple one plane trajectory, just up and down. Can you do that? You know, that's even can be a warm up, you know, and then can you make it a little bit more complicated? Can you go it up and back, right? So it's up and back. And then, you know, if you can do up and back, can you go forward and up and back, right? And you kind of goes into more circular direction, right? Of a shoulder. So, well, and you practice, it's kind of like something that you can have fun with, you know. It can be variations. You can do both shoulders, like rotations backward, but you can change direction and you can go forward. You can go one after another, right? It's all actually like, I have a mixed martial arts background, and it's really like that's a mixed martial arts warm-up routine. That's what these guys do. And like speaking, like, you know, their stance also is different purpose, but their defense stand when they place forearm forearms in
Right.
front, so they're protecting their body, but the posture is very similar,
Right.
right? And also the strikes, you cannot be stiff in your shoulder if you want to have like a sharp, strong strike. The energy goes from the legs,
Yeah.
so shoulder should be
Perfect.
loose, right?
Uh-huh.
So all martial artists, they really kind of work a lot on the shoulder mobilities. They also do like rotations, all like on the shoulders, like one arm after another. So you can get inspiration from mixed martial artist warm-ups, and where's my stick? 1 second.
Okay.
So
Oh,
1 second.
okay. I'll just do a quick translation here, okay, Dennis?
Yes,
Pessoal,
please.
o Denis, eu estava perguntando para ele em relação à flexibilidade da torácica, que ele falou que é muito importante conseguir trazer os ombros aqui para frente. E para você ter conforto nessa posição de hack, você começar com pesos pequenos. Então, não tem vergonha nenhuma um homem começar com peso de 12 quilos, por exemplo, né? Porque passou de 24, o negócio começa a ficar complicado. E o que ele falou é para você se inspirar em basicamente qualquer aquecimento de lutadores de artes marciais. Então, qualquer atleta de MMA que você pegar a rotina de aquecimento, você vai ver que o cara, para dar os strikes, né, para dar os golpes, ele tem que estar com os ombros bem soltos. Tá? Então, todo tipo de rotação que você fizer, que você consiga se divertir com isso, vale a pena. Thank you, Dennis. Great.
So stick rotation. Well, stick rotation actually. The reason I start using it is to improve my top fixation. So it's related to shoulder mobility, but it transitions itself into direct fixation as well, because when you capable of a shoulder of the stick rotation, especially with the straight arms, so you're getting a little bit more loose in your front deltoids. And like in the biceps connection, in pectorals, well, back deltoid as well, especially if you will alternate the side rotations. So that all helps you to loosen up in your shoulders. And once your shoulders can move, well, then you can just pull it forward. So you see, when you're trying to reach the pelvis by your elbow, you should think about shoulder. Right, it's just a same bone, different ends. So
like
if you stiffen your shoulder, you're kind of like working against the purpose, right? So there's no success to it. So you need to loosen up here in order to lower this part. So if you're able to move shoulder a bit forward and down, so here we go. How much lower the elbow, and it will get to the spot.
Right.
So here.
I have a question, just came to my mind now. Do you think that for a beginner at kettlebell sport would be not so advisable to wear the belt? Because a lot of people use the belt like to have a better elbow fixation against the hip, because they don't have the full range of motion, and they start using the belt already. So do you think that for a beginner that counterproductive?
No, not really. Well, I would say is that for person with a very good flexibility, who have no problem of reaching the pelvis with their elbows, and it's more true for girls. Girls usually a bit more flexible, have easier times to get direct fixation, or just for guys whose flexibility is good. So they actually first don't see much of a purpose of a belt, because they just comfortable to get there on their own, and they need a bit of a time, because once kettlebells get heavier, then they will realize that they want a bit more stability here,
Right.
because you don't want to you want to keep elbows close, but you don't want to have them too close. When they weigh too close, and when your elbows digging not on top of the iliac crest here, sides of a pelvis, but into your abdominals, in the soft tissue, you kind of like punching the guts, the soft part, and it's like very few times, but I get a feedback from the female athletes that they experience some discomfort in their abdominal area because of that, because just they really was keeping elbows very close to each other, like basically aiming into a belly button, and the all weight was on the abdominals and soft tissue. So The good rack fixation is when your elbow's not out of the pelvis, but they also shouldn't be way too close. So, well, again, speaking
well,
of
you
this,
have a range there.
yeah, speaking of this guy here. So, well, it's a male skeleton. So, female pelvis is a bit wider. But idea is that so.
Really good.
Yes, so that's the iliac crest, this part of a pelvis. Well,
Perfect.
basically the size of this way. So, and that's where the elbow should be. So you don't want the elbow. Actually, this my guy, he keep elbows a little bit too deep inside of his pelvis.
Right.
So they should be like on the edge here, because well, that's where our guts and organs, you know, like under the abdominal. So you don't want to put elbows inside of a pelvis. It should be right on the edge.
Right. Perfect. So hard tissue on the top of hard tissue.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And guys with a bad flexibility who have troubles to keep elbows close enough, well, belt is good for them because, well, they keep missing rack fixation. So, you know, they don't have rest at all. And what it do to them is because they're missing the rack fixation, so they intend to lean back. And at least we can do is, well, by wearing a belt to use its, well, common purpose, you know, to support the lower back a bit, you know, because when you, well, put the belt, well, it's, you know, it gives a bit of a support to your lumbar, you know, when you put it this way. So it helps a little bit to solve, you know, to cover up your mistakes. And then another thing is usually kettlebell sport belts, they're pretty thick. So it's like about like 1 centimeter of a leather. So you can take it as simply the expansion of your pelvis by 2 centimeters, you know. So you, like, let's say if you have a narrow pelvis and you put a good size belt, well, it just made your pelvis a bit wider, and then it's, well, just, you know, the belt leather is more firm of a substance. So it's really kind of, you know, well, even if it's not like you aim your elbow right on the belt. You put the belt like on around your pelvis, so the upper edge of a belt on about the level of the iliac crest. And then actually it's good when some part of like a stomach, you know, or skin kind of goes above the belt and it's formed somewhat like a shelf. So you're not pinching your elbow, you know. If belt is too high and it's sharp, you just will cut to blood your elbows, you know, if you're all jamming your elbows into the belt.
Yeah, I had
so
that
belt ideally
a few times.
Yeah. So belt ideal on the pelvis, and then, you know, it's a bit like a wrinkle, you know, of a tissue above the belt, and on top of it elbow stand. But you feel that belt is underneath and it holding this tissue, the stomach. And even actually, you know, for guys with like a bit of an extra weight, let's say if like some belly is there, you know, if you pull belt underneath the belly, and well, if you rack fixation is not really about the body weight, you know. It's like it's lots of examples of guys who's, you know, overweight but have a great rack fixation, and actually they turn it to their benefit. Well, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, that that's the goal, of course, you know. It's, well, it's a whole different topic, and well, I would say that's probably it's ideal, you know, to be able to get close to your iliac crest. But, you know, if situation, you know, the ways that, you know, you have some extra weight, work on your mobility. As long as you can move your arm in front of your torso and place elbows on the belly. So you put the belt underneath the belly and belly on top of it, and it's actually kind of make the shelf higher. And then the distance of travel is much shorter. So let's say for me, my elbow goes from here, well, to the top. And, you know, if there's, you know, some belly here, so you can save, who knows, 10, 15, 20 centimeters. So it just
shorten the distance, less work.
Short the distance. So, and that's the beauty of a sport, that, you know, you turn your personal specifics into your advantage, you know, even if it looks like a disadvantage for someone like Johnny Benitez, for example. He's you know, it's hard for him to reach his pelvis. He kind of have anatomy, the way that his torso is tall and arms pretty short, so his elbows not reaching the iliac crest, even he's a skinny guy, but he's managing to rest on the lower ribs his elbows.
Oh.
Even like, when we like, been in the shower, changing, like you have bruises here, like on the lower ribs. So that's where his rack fixation. And well, he's, he mastered it. And same story, it sits much higher, so it's a shorter distance of a travel. Plus, his arms, fairly also short, so it's just very efficient for him, to do many reps because a short distance of a travel.
Actually, I saw Johnny performing with 40 kilos kettlebells, two at a time. It was pretty amazing. He's really skinny.
Well, he's understand. He break all of the standards. Before him, it was considered extraordinary, to get 100 jerks. Like guys before them in 60 kilo weight class, the ones who did 100 reps, they were like considered like, masters. And then Johnny, he not just beat it by few reps, he just get 150. He just get 1.5 more reps. Like I never did that many jerks. My best is 145, and Johnny's best is 150. Well, I'm not. Let's say for maybe fair of argument, I'm not a biathlon guy. I'm long cyclist guy, and top biathlon guys in my body weight like Anton Anasenko, they close to 170, and like Ivan Markov now, close to 180. So of course, anyways, heavier guys, they do more reps, but still, his result is like outstanding. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. 150 jerks.
That's great. Dennis, I have actually a couple questions. One is a quite personal one. Some people asked me when I posted the live flyer. People asked me if your skeleton has a name, if you baptized your skeleton already.
Well, he's a Konstantin,
Constantine.
Well, you see that the reason also for that is Konstantin. It's also a name it's international name.
Yeah.
So, but it's not that rare of a name in Russia, and this name also in Russian language means the bone. So Kost.
Oh, cool.
Kost. That's the bone in Russian. So that's why Konstantin, because he's a bone guy. So it's kind of fits perfectly for him.
I had a hunch. I thought it was Yuri because I was about to ask you the name, and I was writing what's the name of your skeleton, because I was supposed to write the flyer Denis Vasiliev and then the name of your skeleton. And when I wrote my orthographic corrector suggested Yuri instead of your. So maybe it's Yuri, I don't know, but Konstantin, then it's really fantastic. It's really great.
He's a Konstantin.
Second question is do you have in mind coming back to Brazil at some next months?
Well, I'd love to. Well, I don't have any like a particular confirmed plans. Actually, our just even not related to kettlebell sport, but best memories of our best vacation in life, it's like about Brazil. We went Morro de São Paulo, was an island close to Salvador.
Yes, in Bahia. Morro de São Paulo. It's
was
like
wonderful.
It's like St. Paul's Hills, something like that in English.
Yeah, well, it was great way. Yeah, Joao and Priscilla back, they helps us to organize it and meet us, me and my wife, in the airport, and helps us to, get to the bus, and because we don't speak Portuguese, but and we kind of was concerned a little about it, that kind of how we can, talk to people, but now it was amazing experience. People were so nice, and we have no problems at all. It was a wonderful time, and kettlebell community is great in Brazil. It's been a period of time. Well, Joao, he was a big supporter of mine, and all of the events I did in Brazil was organized by Joao. In several cities, and it was a period of time when I was coming like at least once a year to Brazil, like for maybe 3 years, and then pandemic hits and all. So I hope maybe we'll be able to attend one of the competitions in Brazil. So I'm trying to be in touch with athletes and with the coaches. So once opportunity will come, yes, I'll be happy to, and I will let you know and we'll announce it.
Okay. Juan from Caruaru, he was actually, yeah, I don't know if he's yet here at the live. I saw his name rolling up in the spring. He's a great friend. I've been to Caruaru. Actually, I competed in Nordeste Open once. I think it is one of the best places I've ever been in my life. It was just a one-time opportunity I had, and it was the best breakfast I've ever had in any place. In any place, it was really
Yeah.
fantastic. They were eating like a roasted goat in the morning, like 7 in the morning. Were having goat and go like, come on, but it's really great. Well, Dennis, thank you so much for being here with all of us. There's a lot of people coming in and out and in this live. I would ask people if they have some questions to shoot them in the icon, okay, an interrogation icon. And if they have also any other subjects that we may approach in a further live, that would be good, because then we can talk about what audience is interested in. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from my part, I appreciate that so much. Thank you for your time. I know you have a lot to do, a lot to do. You're probably at work now, and nothing else but dá spasiba. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado. Okay.
Oh, my great pleasure. And yeah, I'm sorry. I probably should talk a bit slower or make a break so you will have a chance to translate to guys. So guys
Don't
who's
worry about it.
doesn't speak English, yeah, I'm sorry. It's of course a little bit of a delay, with translation work. But if I'll do it again next time, we'll try to get a better job and I'll be a bit slower so we can make sure that everyone understands us, and guys in Brazil especially. So
No
yes.
worries. I'll try to download this video also, and I'll try to put the subtitles, the caption into Portuguese. Okay.
Oh, that will be
And
wonderful. Yes.
okay. And if I have the file, I'll share it with you also.
Yeah, please
Thank
tag me
you very
or add
much.
me as a collaborator. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. It was really very enriching. It was really good. Actually, there were a couple of questions from myself that you just killed them. One of those was wearing the belt for beginners, and I didn't have that vision. It's always a pleasure to hear from the best. And Dennis, you are top notch. Thank you very much, sir. And have a great Friday. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, my friend. Likewise. Yeah, have a great weekend. We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch. Thank you very much, Dennis. Bye. Valeu,
Bye.
galera. Obrigado. Vamos ficando por aqui. Depois eu solto os links traduzidos, as legendas traduzidas. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.